I have been a part of this YouTube community of witches for nearly 14 years, and have both attempted to answer and heard many others answer the question, what kind of witch are you? How do you practice your craft? Do you cast spells? Practice divination? Communicate with the dead? Maybe you're a kitchen witch or a green witch. Do you observe the Sabbaths or the cycles of the moon? After more than 400 videos in which I have shared with all of you much of my knowledge and experience, I thought I understood very well who I am. What you see is what you get, at least they say it is. But I have only recently come to see myself, my authentic self, the witch within me. Greetings and welcome to Crone House. It's been a while. It's probably been close to 4 months since I last uploaded a video here onto YouTube. Some of you may have wondered where I was. Some of you maybe didn't even know I was gone. And I know a lot of you have turned the video on today with the hopes that they're going to get an update on Joe and his condition. I understand that, and I promise I will give you an update at the end of this video. But right now, especially for those of you who may be tuning in for the first time, you don't even know what that's about. So I'm going to give you a little background, a little bit of the background in the video. But I really want to get to the subject of the video because it's something that it's really come to be very important to me right now. So I want to share that. So if you're just here for the update on Joe, just go ahead and fast forward to the end of the video and you can get that right away. For those who do not know, my husband Joe suffered a health crisis at the end of February, which ultimately led to him being admitted to the hospital in mid-March and put in ICU and intubated. This was not expected in any way. As a matter of fact, it left their whole family very anxious, devastated really. Without warning, I found myself spending long days at my husband's bedside. The only sound coming from the monitors and all the machines that were there to keep him alive. This wasn't his first medical emergency. Those experiences in the past were also frightening, but I did everything I could to assist him in getting through them and helping with his healing. And I shared a lot of that with you here on YouTube. I made puppets. I lit special candles and incenses. I looked to my cards for guidance, for advice, for support. But this time, standing at his bedtime for the first time, I recalled one of those prior incidences, standing in a hospital room, where all of a sudden, one of my bracelets, these bracelets actually that I wear pretty much all the time to keep me grounded, these bracelets, one of them, for no apparent reason, just burst, and beads scattered all over the hospital room floor. Well, it was a bit of a shock, but I just figured it was something to do with the bracelets were probably, there was time to restring the bracelets. The cording was probably getting old and weak, and they broke. So I didn't think a lot about it at the time. Now, I'm not usually superstitious, but I have to say that first morning when I was notified my husband had been put into the ICU and intubated, that when I left to go, I left my bracelets behind. I remember that day and how they scattered all over the floor, and I knew if that was going to happen and I was in the ICU with my husband in such serious condition, I would be I would be shattered and scattered all over the floor myself. During the days that followed, I made no poppets. I didn't light healing candles rubbed with special healing oils, or I didn't light special incenses. I went without my bracelets to sit with him. I hadn't touched a tarot card, I didn't even think of touching a tarot card. I sat by his side, his unresponsive hand in mine, with only my feet, the soles of my feet, on the ground under his bed to ground me. As I stroked his hand, I sent my energy through him. And then I noted that I was receiving his energy back. He wasn't conscious. His eyes didn't open. He wasn't speaking to me. But I could feel his energy coming through his hand into mine. I could feel his presence filling me in that quiet room. We were the circle that we both sing about so often with coven mates when we're doing healing circles. We sing, I am a circle, I am healing you. You are a circle, you are healing me. Unite us. Be as one. Once Joe began the early stages of his healing, and he was able to be awake and eventually moved from the ICU, I was able to turn a little bit of my attention to some mundane matters. Actually, I had to. I didn't have much choice. There were a lot of things that had to be dealt with. Pets, bills, talking to doctors, nurses, making decisions. I was driving everywhere. And, you know, I've been married a long time. I do drive, but most of the time, Joe was always the main driver in our family. I was making all kinds of decisions that I just had never made alone, to be honest. We always did everything as a team. I found myself having to take on the role of his advocate. I had to make decisions for his health, make decisions with his, the doctors, the recommendations that the doctors were making, and I also had to be his strength. He was very, very weak. He was confused, and he was dependent on me to help him get through this. The more that I did, the more of these small jobs that I had to take on that I was not used to doing, the more I realized that they were actually healing me. It was helping me to heal. I had felt so worthless, so helpless, that I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how I could help. And I found that these small jobs that I was doing were really giving me purpose. They were helping me take my mind off of things that were not so good to think about. Somehow I knew that they were necessary for my own healing from my own trauma that I was experiencing. Now, interestingly, if you have been watching my videos at all and seen any of my tarot videos, you know that I always look at the minor arcana in the tarot deck as the small things in life, the everyday things in life. And for that reason, a lot of people disregard them. They don't think they're that important. But I've always said, and I've taught my students, that it is the small things that make or break our lives most of the time. Like the big things are important. Like if we get, something big happening to us, if we have a baby or we move or we get a divorce, yes, those affect our lives. But the everyday, the mundane everyday things about our possessions or our money, our family, our relationships, our jobs, our work, how we're feeling, our health, those kind of things really make a difference in our lives. They're really important. And I found that they were really important in helping me to heal the trauma that I had been experiencing. One day, after an extremely long and hard day spent at the hospital, I came home, very dark, very cold, very rainy day, and I was sitting at the kitchen table, and I happened to look up at my grow lights that are in the front hall of my home, in the foyer, and my trays of tomato seedlings that were supposed to be growing under the grow lights, and I noticed that they really had done nothing. They were really very small. We didn't even have any true leaves yet on my plants, and I had planted these seeds in Egnell at the beginning of February. Now we were well towards the end of March, and everyone around me was saying, just get rid of them. They are stunted. They're never going to grow. You know they won't grow. So just get rid of them. And when, after, Joe comes home and it's closer to planting time, we'll just go to the garden center and get some starts, little plants, and we'll put them in the garden. Nothing shameful about that. Everybody agreed but me. Everybody agreed but me. I couldn't give up on those tomato plants. Something in me just wouldn't let me give up. I don't know what it was. I was looking for something to give me hope. I'm not sure what it was. But at any rate, I spent a long evening, a long night actually, in the cold, dark house, digging out some of the starting mix that was in those little cells, the little plant cells, and being very, very careful. My little seedlings were, just maybe half an inch tall, maybe. Very delicate, no true leaves on anything. I took those little sprouts and I put them, and I surrounded that little bit of seed starting mix that I had in there with some really good dirt. I got some really good plant mix, and organic, of course. And I just put them in there, and I gave them a good spritz with some rainwater, and I put them back under the lights. And then, I went on with my business. I want to tell you that I started to notice when the evenings came and we came home from the hospital, was sitting around the kitchen table, having something to eat before bed. I'd look up and I'd see the plant little starts, and I'd say, they look awful close. They're growing, and they look like they're awful close to the light. So I'd raise the lights up, and in a little while they would grow and they would get to the lights again. And it got to the point, but by the time that Joe came home from the hospital, they were at the very limits of those shelves. The lights were clear at the very top of the shelves. And they were really ready to go outside and be hardened off, put into the garden. And that's exactly where they are today. They're in my garden, and they're doing really, really well. They have all kinds of vigorous growth on them. We're going to get lots of really strong stems and roots, and I'm very sure we're going to get a lot of tomatoes this year. This meant a lot to me. You can imagine it meant a lot to me. I was really hopeful. It gave me all kinds of hope. It gave me all kinds of hope for Joe and his future, and what we're going to be able to accomplish together. I'm not sure what the tomatoes have to do with Joe's health. Probably nothing, but to me, it was everything. It was very empowering for me to make the attempt at saving my tomato seedlings and succeeding, and that's really something that was very important for me at the time. And I'm going to think twice before giving up on things too easily in the future. If my tomato plants coming back to life was a coincidence, I can maybe give you another coincidence that meant so much to me. I haven't been on YouTube, of course, making videos, but I also haven't really been watching many videos. I haven't had the time, but there's a few people that I never missed. A few of my very favorite people that I will never ever miss their videos, no matter what. Of course, I saw them very late. And the reason I say that, I even bring it up, is that one of my very, very favorite people that I watch and never will miss is Beanbag Hagwag, which is Trish. And I love her so much. She's a gift. She's an artist. She's an artist, and she's a practicing witch, and she incorporates her art into her practice all the time wonderfully. She's very, very calming. She's calming to me. And a lot of times she says things that really hit home. She says things that I've been thinking, that I've already been thinking. And this happened to me. This happened to me in one of her recent videos, because I had been thinking about this video, doing this video, for a lot of the time that I was, dealing with my husband and his appointments and when he came home from the hospital. I was thinking maybe I should put up a video. I don't know, and I didn't want to put up. And then I was thinking, oh, maybe this video that I'm doing now is something that maybe people would be interested in seeing. And all of a sudden, I watched Trisha's video, and out of her mouth came the very thought that had been in my head, which was so good. She said, what is the quote? She said, "The witch is within you. Let her run free." And her video is, I want you to watch it. Go watch it. I'll link it below. Talking about, you don't have to look like a witch or have all this, the get up to be a witch. I mean, you might not even recognize a lot of people that are witches, because we don't always look like we're witches. Anyway, but the witch is within us, and that's the lesson that I learned during this crisis. The witch is within us. So that authentic witch that is me is within me, and that's the one I found. I wasn't doing a lot to practice my magic when my husband was ill. When he was in the hospital, I wasn't pretty much doing anything at all with my tools, my normal practice. But I was doing a lot practicing. I was grounding myself with myself, using my own body to ground myself, using my own body, the energies in myself and in my husband's body, to heal him and heal me in the process. What I found was, when I came home and he started to, we were encouraged about his health, and we were starting to get encouraging news about his progress. I started to realize that I really missed my tools. I missed my candles. I missed my incenses. I missed my oils. I missed my tarot cards. I really missed my tarot cards a lot. I want to say that what I miss the most is the partnership that I had with my tools in the first place. And I think that's what true witches really use their tools for. We know that the magic is not within the tools. We know that. The magic is within us. Our tools help us to practice that magic. Okay? The candles will hold intentions for us when we are not able to hold them ourselves. Our incenses helps us. The incense will help us. The oils will help us. The herbs will help us. It is a partnership that we come to trust our tools. We come to trust. The tarot does not tell me things that I don't know. The tarot helps me see what it is that I can't see that I know. Our tools work with us in partnership to help us use our magic when we alone cannot. The feel of my bracelets against my skin helps me keep my feet on the ground when I'm afraid I'm going to fall. The flame of my candle holds my intentions when I must address other concerns, another matter for a time. As do my protection jars, my sachets, my poppets, purses, jars that I surround myself with. Use all the tools that you want, but remember, they are the tools of your craft. They are not your craft. They are meant to assist you in your magic, not do your magic for you. You can have a really good hammer, but that hammer is not going to fix your roof. But it sure will be of use when you want to fix your roof yourself. Okay. Thank you for listening. I want to say to those of you who have stuck with me this long, I want to give you a little update on Joe. Joe is doing well. He's home. He's feeling much better, much improvements all the time. He is receiving treatments for a third cancer, completely unrelated to the first two. He's got a long road. He's got a long road ahead of him, but he's really doing well. He's feeling well. He's back to his normal routines. He's working in the garden actually right now. He's outside in the garden. He doesn't have a lot of the side effects yet that we might have thought he would have from his treatments, but it's still pretty early in his journey. So we're very optimistic. I'm very optimistic. I'm very hopeful. I appreciate you, those of you who have lit candles for him, who are sending prayers, positive energies, healing energies of all kinds, are always appreciated. I really do. I can't say enough. I can't say enough. We have felt you on his other journeys help us get through those, and we're very confident that your assistance now is making a big difference in his healing. So I really appreciate that. Okay. I'll try to come back. I'll try to come back on here regularly, and if there's anything new to tell you, I will tell you if you're interested. Okay. So I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for not abandoning me. If those of you who have stayed and waited for me, I really appreciate that. It's good to know. After all these years that I didn't just disappear. I didn't want to just disappear. So anyway, thank you so much. I send all of you blessings. As always, I am Rebecca the Good Wife, and I will be back very soon.